We've got another big heat here to round out the first round action. Sally Fitzgibbons up against Carolyn Marks and Bronte Macaulay. Carolyn has become a real popular choice, just so strong. Sally Fitzgibbons, though, kicked off the heat in fine form.
Again, another one of those surfers is just equally hand as well as the forehand. Here's one surfer's backhand is absolutely lethal. You'd say that her backhand probably a little stronger than her forehand.
Yeah, I think it's fair to say that her backhand is a little stronger than a lot of the other competitors on the championship tour as well. Bronte Macaulay getting her first ride. Based on the history and the form of the competitors in the lineup, you'd think that Bronte's going to have her work cut out for her here in this heat. Sally's had some great finishes here on the Gold Coast. Second place finish to Tyler Wright years ago. I think when you look at the group of surfers that Glenn Hall has worked with, that is his strength. Taking on a veteran competitor that has maybe had the talent and not put it all together, and helping them just find a new approach, a fresh energy for competition. Tyler Wright, she'd been around a long time before she broke through and got a world titles. Matt Wilkinson, same story.
It seems to me when you talk to the guys that have been working with Glenn, and they're all they end up working together quite often. And I think that's the helpful part too, is that team aspect of helping each other.
And Sal's kind of been a bit of a loner, really, as a championship tour competitor. So maybe just trying to settle into that team feel. Caroline Marks had this one.
I mean, one thing about what she does, and this is Caroline Marks here, and why her backhand is so incredible, is the acceleration she gets mid-face on the bottom turn. She turns her body. I mean, they've been told that she emulates Aki off the bottom. It's the low center of gravity, and she twists up, but she gets acceleration out of the mid-face bottom turn and then accelerates into the lip. That wave there specifically suits Caroline perfectly. She knows how to tube ride very well as well.
She just has those big individual turns. She's just dropped an 8-point ride well out in front. Bronte Macaulay.
That innovation and progression element. We watch the replay here from Bronte. You know, another surfer who has an amazing backhand.
That third position. Caroline's up again. Wave number 3, making them count at the moment. Very solid, planted on her feet. The backhand, we talk a lot about that, but it seemed that she really focused on her forehand as well in the off-season. In particular, her frontside airs.
It feels like to me that the judges have really been rewarding if you're going to attack that first section, which is what it's supposed to be. So finding a wave that's going to give you that opportunity. Kind of like this.
Well, great sequence of turns on the outside and the big finish. That's exactly what Bronte needed. She hadn't done better than a mid-range 3 up until this point, but that was a really nice flowing ride and a pretty hectic section to finish on.
She kept her speed through this car beautifully, you know, good angle, and then there, vertical. So again, variety has been showcased here, and commitment. I mean, that last section was a very solid section, and she stayed very well controlled on her feet. You know, she gets her board compressed right up above the hips, and she stomps it really in a very challenging section. So this is going to be a good number for her. Is up and riding again.
Caroline just looking really alive on her equipment at the moment. Just seems to power through those flat sections with a lot of ease. Still working this one over. Her boards look finely tuned for this new season.
Great flow, right? You mentioned that, but the acceleration, that mid-face that she gets. I mean, even here, just great rhythm. Again, she on her backhand is able to give us some variety as well. Those angles of attacks to snap, to floats.
Just under 10 minutes remaining here in Heat 6 of Round 1 at the Boost Mobile Pro. A great heat unfolding. And two of the youngsters on the championship tour really sticking it to one of the veterans here, Sally Fitzgibbons. Great to see Caroline down here. 8 BMX world titles, a 2-time Olympian. And got her sights set on Japan. As we see Bronte Macaulay trying to shore up one of these qualifying positions.
Oh.
Does well to hang on to that turn.
That was amazing.
So pushing hard there on a tricky section, almost lost control. Reeled it back in, trying to better a 3.27 here to make life harder for Sally Fitzgibbons.
Couldn't quite keep it together, but this is another golden opportunity. Sees it down the line, She gets that first section, attacks it, and this one's straight up. I mean, she had to go straight up because the section had tapered off so quickly on the angle.
About to kick off, Julian Wilson in that first heat. He's up against Leonardo Fioravanti and Matthias Hurdy. Do you think he can get the job done? Go to worldsurfleague.com to have your say. Caroline Marks up at the moment. She doesn't like the looks of this one. She kicks out. Just under 5 minutes remaining here. And out the back, Sally Fitzgibbons trying to make a late charge here. Sal, definitely one of the more composed performers on the championship tour, holds her nerve beautifully in these big moments. Wants to avoid that second round. Nice end section turn there. But she is in need of some pretty solid scores to get herself out of trouble here.
Yeah, and that way, unfortunately, didn't quite do it for her. Here, she saw down the line carry all the speed into the section, and then it flattened out. So she carves her way through and then gets to the one section, but it really came down to this maneuver being really the only impactful maneuver of the wave. So it's really not going to elevate that score. If you want to see her combine the two maneuvers together, let's get that combination of major moves, but very strong attack in the lip there.
She might just narrow the requirement a little going into the final 3 minutes here. Caroline Marks picks off another one. This is her 6th ride. She's trying to better a 6.5. Well, Sally trying to scratch into this one before the hooter sounds. That wave wasn't even breaking, so she was no chance. But she will have to fight her way out of the second round. You'd back her to do that, so much experience. But Caroline Marks and Bronte Macaulay, what a performance. The second round of the Quicksilver Pro is just around the corner.